Now let's dive in. It was a quiet Sunday morning at exactly 9 o'clock when I found myself thinking hard about my marriage to Mia. We'd spent 35 years together in a simple but cozy house just outside town. It wasn't big, a bedroom, a living room, and a garage that opened onto a broad terrace. There was room for 2 cars and my prized motorcycle, which I rode whenever I needed to clear my head. That morning Mia told me she had plans for Friday night. She mentioned it casually. She was going out on a date. That hit me like a punch. Friday nights were our thing, our routine, our little tradition. She said the man worked at another branch of her company. It was his birthday, and she planned to celebrate with him. She explained their friendship had grown from occasional visits to coffee breaks, and then to shared lunches. Then, one afternoon, he had stopped by her office to say goodbye and kissed her out of the blue. I asked how you could just agree to go out with him after that. My voice probably gave away more than I meant. She paused and admitted she might have given a subtle sign that the kiss wasn't unwelcome. But it was just a kiss, she said, trying to make it seem small, still trying to hold it together. I asked, "Did you kiss him back?" She answered softly, "Yes." The next few nights blurred into tense talks. Every time we talked about the dinner, she stayed calm, but her calm only made me feel worse. Then she confessed there wasn't going to be a party at all. Just dinner. The 2 of them. My frustration spiked. I asked bluntly, "Are you planning to sleep with him?" She didn't answer right away. That silence said more than any words. Finally she asked, "Why would you even think that?" I told her. She seemed giddy, flushed, excited. I reminded her she'd complimented his looks more than once. She didn't deny it. "Yes, he's attractive. Yes, I'm excited," she said. Then she added that the flush came from rushing home to bake him a cake. It was already in the oven, a birthday cake. I couldn't. "Remember the last time I baked one for you?" She shot back that she always took me to my favorite restaurant for my birthday. Richard was divorced and not going to celebrate. I just didn't want him to be alone, she explained. That didn't ease the knot in my stomach. I asked if she even knew why he got divorced. She didn't. "We've never talked about it," she said. "But he's a good man." Finally, I told her I'd come along to dinner. "Of course," she said. "No, it's a date," she corrected, clear and unapologetic. So again I asked, "Are you going to sleep with him?" Her tone was measured. "I'm not planning to." That didn't comfort me at all. "You know he wants to." I told her that kiss wasn't just friendly. He's expecting something. "Michael," she said patiently, "just because he's a man doesn't mean I'll sleep with him. Men might hope for that, but it doesn't mean it'll happen." Then admit it's a possibility. I pushed. She said I was overreacting. "It's just dinner," she repeated. "I've had dinner with co-workers before, but not like this." I argued. "This man kissed you, and you're dressing up for him." "I'm going," she said, voice firm. I lost my cool. "He's more than just a co-worker. He kissed you. You didn't stop him. You still haven't told me clearly you won't sleep with him." She shrugged. "I'm not planning on it. But I can't promise it's impossible. It depends on how the evening goes." Her honesty hurt more than any lie would have. I kept pushing, describing different scenarios. Would she sleep with him in the car or in a hotel room if the moment came? She brushed off my sarcasm and said she'd already called a cab for the evening. "It'll be here at 7 o'clock, she said. "So you'll be free to drink without worrying about driving." I noted bitterly. She sighed. "Michael, stop. Yes, I might have wine, but I wouldn't drive even if I didn't. Why are you making this worse?" The oven timer went off. "Cake's done," she said, heading to the kitchen. "Maybe I'll have a slice." I muttered. "Don't touch it," she snapped. "It's just sponge cake. You don't even like it." That landed low. I admitted it, but agreed not to touch it. She moved the cake to a cooling rack and mumbled something about adding fresh cream. The next day, a cake box sat nearby. "Ready. And don't even think about touching that box," she warned, glancing back. "I know what you're capable of." "I won't touch anything," I said, half amused, half hurt, and went back to the living room. I asked where the dinner would be. "The Hilton," she answered. "Figures." I said with a dry laugh. Let me guess, he booked a room, too. Enough, Michael, she shouted. Your jealousy is out of control. Richard didn't book a room. It's just dinner. But if you keep pushing, maybe I will sleep with him just to spite you. Her words stunned me. Then she added, so here's the deal. If you stop with the comments, I'll be home by midnight. No drama. Then Saturday at 9 a.m. we talk. You'll have time to think. Whatever you decide, I'll accept it. If you want me to stop seeing him, I will. 9 a.m. I repeated. Yes, Saturday. You decide what you want. Fine, I said. I'll eat early tomorrow and stay out your way. But I have 2 conditions. She waited. Go on. First, I'll sleep in the guest room tonight, and I won't talk to you until Saturday morning. Second, if you sleep with him, our marriage is over. Fair enough, she said without emotion. On Friday, Mia came home before I did. She was in the kitchen putting the finishing touches on the cake. Happy Birthday, Richard was scripted in rich chocolate. What stood out were the little pink hearts decorating the sides. She greeted me briefly. I said nothing and just stood in the doorway. While she stayed busy, I went to the guest room to change. Quietly, I slipped into our bedroom. In the bathroom, I noticed something missing. An expensive bath oil I'd recently given her was gone. She was clearly planning to use it for a soak before going out. On the bed, her outfit was already laid out. A sleek black dress, black stockings with lace, black panties. Things I'd never seen before. A velvet choker with a small sparkling gem, but no bra. I stared at the carefully chosen ensemble and felt a heavy silence settle in my chest. The space beneath the bed told its own story. No sign of the towering high heels I expected. The terrace curtains were already closed. I locked the bedroom door, pocketed the key, and returned to the living room where the TV murmured softly. From the kitchen, I heard Mia's voice, casual and composed. I'm going to get ready, she said, then added with a calm that sounded rehearsed. Michael, I understand you're upset, but there's nothing going on. By tomorrow, this will all be behind us. I nodded quietly, but inside I felt anything but calm. The moment she closed the bedroom door, a rush of purpose took over. I went to the garage, pulled the cover off my motorcycle, and took it out to the terrace. From there, I could hear the bath running. She was in the tub when the water stopped. I seized the window of silence, unlocked the bedroom with the terrace key, and slipped inside, spreading the motorcycle cover on the floor. I opened her wardrobe and began pulling everything down. Clothes from the hangers, the black dress from the bed, even the contents of her drawers. Her purse ended up on top of the pile. I closed the wardrobe and eyed the outfit she'd set out. Stockings, a choker, and those unmistakable heels. I couldn't leave her barefoot. Even fury has limits. I found her phone in the purse. Alongside the usual contents and cash cards, I discovered something that stopped me cold. Hidden in a sewn-in lining was a pack of contraceptives. We had never used any. I slipped them into my pocket. Everything else went into the trunk of the car. Her phone, too. I made a note of the taxi she'd scheduled. It was nearly 6:30, and the ride was due at 7 o'clock. I dialed the number. Hello, I'd like to cancel the ride. My wife's come down with a cold. I said, lacing it with bitter humor. No problem, sir. Thanks for letting us know, came the reply. Shortly after, I wheeled the bike out of the garage and fastened the cake box to the rear rack. To kill time, I stopped at a small corner store. Can I borrow a pen? I asked. The cashier, a young woman, smiled knowingly and handed me a thick marker. This happens more than you'd think, she said, pointing to a gaudy pink heart-covered card. I wrote, stay away from my wife or this birthday will be your last. When I reached the hotel just before 7 o'clock, I spotted him through the restaurant window. He sat alone at a table, dark hair, red tie, a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, one untouched, and holding the cake box. I approached the front desk. Cake delivery for Mr. Thomas, I said steadily. The receptionist barely looked up before waving me through. He didn't recognize me. His eyes were puzzled as I sat across from him. A special delivery for Mia, I said calmly, letting the uncertainty sink in. I placed a napkin on my lap and opened the cake box, revealing a neatly made dessert. But the real surprise wasn't. Sweet. Under the napkin, my hand gripped something hidden. "It's your birthday," I whispered, "and I have a gun. Say one word, and it'll be your last." He understood. His face went ghost white, and he nodded. "I'm going to ask you a few questions. Mia's already answered them. Lie, and you won't make it out of this restaurant." His trembling got worse. "How many times have you slept with her?" "Never," he stammered. "I swear, not once." "But you booked the room," I said. "So you were planning to—" "I wanted to," he admitted, "but it wasn't certain. The big question, did Mia know you reserved that room?" His throat worked as he swallowed. "Yes," he muttered. I looked around. No one had noticed. You know how a man feels when he's betrayed? I asked, "You've got two choices. I shoot you and don't think I won't. Or I lower my voice. You shove your face into this cake right now." Without hesitation, he did. Face first into cake, his red tie drenched in cream. I slowly withdrew my hand from beneath the napkin. There had been no gun, only a plastic bag filled with cream. I squeezed it and cream spilled onto his lap. "Well, Richard," I said cheerfully, "you got your cream pie right where you wanted it." I dropped the napkin beside the card, stood, and casually drank his wine before pouring the rest over his head. A few diners glanced over, but no one intervened. Back home, Mia was on the couch wrapped in a robe, her hair damp from the bath. "What did you do, Michael?" she shouted. I simply put a finger to my lips. Saturday, 9 o'clock. Then I went to bed at 7 a.m. the next morning. I woke her by tossing a pile of her clothes onto bed. "You locked the door," she said, stunned. I waved the second key, the one I'd used to sneak into the terrace. Without speaking, I got on the bike and rode to the next town for breakfast. I returned at exactly 9 o'clock. We sat at the table, and the silence stretched tight. I set a large, sharp cake knife between us. She wore a plain tracksuit. "You'd look better in a dress," I said. "Maybe some stockings, a choker." She ignored the remark. "What else did you do last night besides stealing my clothes?" "I stopped by the hotel," I said casually. "Told Richard you wouldn't be coming. Gave him the cake you made. He loved it. Couldn't get enough." I slid her bag and phone across the table. "Oh!" And I deleted his number. "You won't get it back until Wednesday." "I might get it back," she said quietly. "Let's not forget last week," I continued. "You insisted it was just dinner. Swear there was no hotel reservation. And now Richard booked a room, and from what I found, there's no way you didn't know." Then I dropped the hammer. "Tonight, I sleep in our room. You get the guest room. Divorce papers will be ready this week. And by the weekend, I want you gone." Her mouth fell open just like Richard's had. "I'm selling the house. You'll get nothing. No alimony. You'll manage." I paused and muttered bitterly, "That's it, Michael." "Please," she started. "No." I cut in. "You thought I'd sit here while you run off with another man." "We never," she started. "It doesn't matter," I said. "You said stockings. A thong. No bra. You said dinner would be an hour. The taxi was booked for 10. What were you doing for 3 hours?" I pulled the 3 contraceptives from my pocket and pinned them to the table with the cake knife. "You can keep this table," I said. "You're a liar, a cheat. I regret spending 35 years on."